Hello, my name is Sabrina Fussenegger with Knights Media Network, and welcome to my talk show. This is called Jabbin with Sab, and here we're going to go to the source of the interviewee and understand what they bring to the world and what they have to share. So, today we're going to meet my sister, Riley Fussenegger. Let's see what she's all about. Hey Riley.
Hey!
You ready to do this show?
Heck yeah, let's go!
Let's get going. Hello, and welcome back to Jabbin with Sab. So, as I said just a couple minutes ago, this is my sister, Riley Fussenegger. Now, she has a passion that she's had for a very, very long time, since a very young age. And what is that passion, Riley?
I love music. All types of music.
Music. And so, what really began that passion for you?
Well, when I was younger, my grandparents had a record player like this, and they would always play a bunch of records like the Beatles and the Jackson 5 and stuff like that. And so when I got my hands on one, that's all I did was listen to music on the record player.
That's amazing. And this young passion sparked a lifetime of music. So she is now in the Youth Performing Arts Center at Manual High School. So tell us a little bit about that.
YPass is a program. It's like a bridge off of Manual. So there are a bunch of different magnets at Manual, but YPass, the Youth Performing Arts, is just one that I'm a part of. And I'm a part of the theater department, and I study music outside of school as well.
That's amazing. So she's also an actor as well, but let's stick to the music right now. Tell us a little bit about this record player.
So this one I got a couple Christmases ago, and I've been collecting records since like a young age, so that now that I finally have my own small and portable one, I can listen to whatever I want, whenever I want. And I have one of my favorites right here, a chorus line. Should we take a listen?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've never really seen a record player, honestly, for a really long time, so show us how it's done.
Alright, so you just put it in here.
This is awesome, perfect. So can you tell us a little bit about what makes a chorus line so special for you?
Chorus Line is a musical about casting a musical, and the whole play is about the audition. And it's interesting to see like where all these different people come from, how they came to New York to audition in the first place. And it's a show that I hope to do sometime in the future.
Awesome. So I know there's some dancing involved in Chorus Line. Do you know any of those dances?
I'm actually a pretty good tapper, if I say so myself.
Let's go put that to the test.
This is one of my favorite numbers from a chorus line.
So thank you for showing us that amazing tap number. Not many people can do that. That's very amazing. Good job.
Thank you.
So now that we have moved past the dance, we are now on to her acting career. So tell us a little bit how that started.
I started acting when I was in the summer between 3rd and 4th grade, and I did a stage 1 camp, and ever since then, that's all I've been doing, it's all I think about, it's my passion, so.
So what was the very first play that you were in?
I was in Beauty and the Beast, Junior, and I played Belle for the second half of the show, because the first half of the show another girl was doing it, but it was still really fun. And it's interesting because a lot of the people that I was in the play with, I still know today, and I still work with, and they're still some of my best friends.
Wow, that's great. So moving past that point, I'm sure you've grown as an actor. Tell us a little bit about what you are doing now.
Well, I just finished doing Newsies at St. X, and this summer I'm planning on doing Kentucky Shakespeare like I did last year. They're doing a Midsummer Night's Dream, and that's something that I want to put my focus on this summer.
Sure. So we've learned a little bit about her acting career. Now, memorizing lines can be super challenging. So we have the Newsies script, which she was just recently in. Can you show us a little bit about how you memorize your lines?
Yeah, so for me it's basically just repetition. And I found out that like writing down other people's lines, like my cue lines, and then going in and filling in my lines helps a lot. Rewriting them over and over and over and over and over again, that's really helpful. But I've noticed Shakespeare for me is actually a lot easier to learn than like lines that are like in normal speech, because Shakespeare has such a rhythm to it. And there's like a bunch of rules about how to say it, like what you emphasize, what is your sentence structure, and a lot of it rhymes too, which is why I think that it's a lot easier for Shakespeare to be memorized than like something like this.
Gotcha. So since we have the Newsy script here with us, can you show us your favorite line from the show?
Mine, or just any line?
Any line.
Like the speech that Jack makes before they go on strike. He talks about how he thinks that like what is happening in the world is wrong and why striking is so important to him, and that's probably my favorite part.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So what is this box?
This here is my box of playbills, and nearly every single show that I've seen or been in is in this box.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
It's broken, and the zipper doesn't even close anymore because there's so many in here. But yeah.
So let's talk about some of these playbills. Your name is printed in here like a real Broadway play. So let's start with this one, Hairspray. What was this one all about?
I was in that show twice. It's a really fun experience. I think the show has a lot of good themes that still are like useful today, and they still matter, because this show it's set in the 60s, but a lot of the themes are still very relevant. So it was a fun show.
Who did you play in this?
The first time I was a Dynamite, and the second time I was just in the ensemble, and I was a beatnik chick, which was fun.
Awesome. So that's Hairspray. So what is this playbill?
That is Mamma Mia, when I did it this past fall. It was really fun because I was an understudy, which is something that I've never done before, and it put a lot of my energy in some place that I've never put it before. It's a lot of observation, and as an actor that's really helpful, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I love that show.
Great. So you mentioned a little bit earlier that you have done Shakespeare work. Tell us a little bit about that. It's not easy to do. It doesn't sound natural for most people. So
the thing about Shakespeare is that people think that it's a lot harder than it is. And while it's very different than mainstream theater, it's really challenging as an actor, which I find really interesting because there's a whole different language. But I think it's a lot more fun because the rhythms are different, the scan is different, the language. You have to do a lot of research, and that's part of the reason why I fell in love with it, because I love doing research on things. I love like digging deeper, and doing Kentucky Shakespeare, I learned how to do that, and it was really fun. So I'm going back and I'm doing it again.
That's great. So in one of your Shakespeare plays, you've played a comedic role. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit of how hard that could be, trying to portray a comedian when the people in the audience might not understand the jokes?
Yeah, so in both Shakespeare plays that I've done, I've been in Much Ado About Nothing and Twelfth Night. I've played the clown of the show. I was Dogberry in Much Ado, and I was Festy in Twelfth Night. And I find the comedic roles a lot more interesting because you have to do a lot more research based on the jokes that they make, because they make a ton of jokes that everyone in the audience won't get because they're 400 years old. So doing research on what they mean, what was the context, what was happening at the time that play was written, that joke was funny to an audience like that, and finding that connection to like a real world experience was really fun for me. So.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. You sure have maybe not so much room to grow, but I'm sure you will in your acting career. So let's move on to a little bit about your singing career. How's that sound?
Cool.
So Jabbin with Sab is coming to a close, but before we go, I want to highlight your singing career. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with that.
Well, I've been studying with a voice teacher for 5 years. She's amazing. She's taught me so much, like with singing and otherwise. So yeah, she's really awesome.
Great. And so I see that you have an instrument with you.
Yes, I do.
What is this?
This is the most basic instrument on the planet. It's a ukulele, and I'm gonna sing a song if that's okay.
That's absolutely right.
All right.
Let's go.
Adventure time, come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. Take the dog and fin the human. Adventure never ends. Adventure time.
Very good. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We got a little bit of performance, but all in all, we've learned that my sister Riley Fussenegger is an amazing girl, talented in acting, dancing, and singing. Join us next time for Jabbin with Sab, and I hope to see you.